Neil Battaglia, saxstation.com. A question I got the other day, and I get a lot of these questions actually about trying to find brands of saxophones, if they're good or not. I have a page about saxophone brands. I'll put a link to it. You can check it out. I've tried a lot of different saxophones actually. I've been to the NAMM show, so I've played a bunch of saxophones there, kind of the newer saxophones. I've played saxophones like this one. This is from 1920. It's a Busher. It doesn't say Busher on it. It's a stencil horn, but it was made by Busher. So that's kind of an interesting thing I learned about not too long ago that you might be unfamiliar with. Other times I've played different people's horns. I've played students' horns. Basically, I've played a lot of saxophones, but I haven't played every brand of saxophone. So if you ask me about something and it's a known brand, I've probably played it, like Cannonball, P. Mariette, Yanagasawa, Yamaha, Selmer, Calworth, Jupiter, Busher, Kahn. I've played a lot of different saxophones, but again, I haven't played every saxophone, and some of them are unknown, and sometimes they're just some name they have on there and they're made in China. So maybe they're good, maybe they're not, maybe they're known somewhere else, and I haven't heard of it. It depends. And so here's this question I got. It says, trying to find information on the Alora Vienna altos. And I basically told him I haven't played one. He said he's looking for his son. He saw a certain price. I basically directed him to Cafe Saxophone. I think that's, yeah, Pete Thomas on that website. Another place I'll sometimes send people to is Sax on the Web. Sometimes people have played these horns that I haven't played, so you can read about them more there. If I have played it, I can go ahead and give my input. If I haven't, sometimes I'll tell people to check it out. You kind of do want to be wary of unknown brands, though. Sometimes that can be a bit of a warning sign. You don't necessarily want to get something. It might break. If it does break, you might have to spend a lot to get it repaired. It might not be worth it. Sometimes you'll have a saxophone and it won't really keep its value. I mean, there are a few saxophones which do keep their value pretty well. The Mark 6, if you bought one of those a while ago, it's definitely worth more, or almost definitely worth more. If it's broken, maybe not. But so a few saxophones kind of increase in value. Not too many do. Most of them lose value over time. But some of them keep their value better than others. Like, say you got like a pretty good Yamaha tenor or something. You could probably resell it later because that's something people will maybe want. If it's an unknown brand, people will be maybe more cautious. It might break more easily going forward. So kind of you want to maybe think about that. Maybe something costs a little bit more, but you could sell it later and you might have to spend less on repairs. There's trade-offs, even if something maybe doesn't cost as much initially. Alright, so let's see. I sent him to Cafe Saxophone. I told him he might want to check out a used horn. Sometimes you can get a pretty good used horn that are in good shape. He said he saw a Yamaha Alto Sax YAS. Yeah, if you see YAS, the AS stands for Alto Sax, the Y stands for Yamaha. Like TS would be tenor sax. And he's saying a Yas 52, a Yas 475. They cost a little bit more than the Alora. I told him that's probably a better option. There's a guy that I know locally. If you live near where I live in California, I could maybe give you his name. He doesn't have a website, but he's got some horns that he's selling. I got this horn from him. But yeah, I would recommend trying a saxophone in person if possible. I'm a little bit cautious about ordering a saxophone from the internet. It might work out for you, it might not. I don't like thinking about the whole shipping process with a saxophone. There's a lot of little pieces which something wrong could happen. And also, if you like it, that's cool. If you don't like it, you have to send it back. You have to worry about that. So if possible, you want to try your saxophone. If you haven't played saxophone very long, or if you've never played before, that's not necessarily going to work, but you might want to maybe talk to someone you know. If you do know someone who plays saxophone, they might be able to come with you and try it out. That might give you a better idea of whether it's a good saxophone or not. Because if you've never played before, you're not going to really tell the difference between a good saxophone and a not so good saxophone. It's just kind of how it is. I put together quite a few of these questions and answers in a book called the Ask Sax Station book. I charge just a little bit for it, not too much, but it's formatted nicely. You can read it on your phone in a big font. I know sometimes you get a PDF on a phone, it's pretty difficult to see, but this, I made a special version for a phone. I made a version on a computer and a PDF. And so, yeah, you can check it out. You can read it on the go. You can read it on a computer. There's just a lot of these different questions. And they're questions that people gave me the background information. So I figure you get a pretty complete view of where they're coming from. Maybe see if you're in the same spot with your playing, if that's going to be helpful to you.